Did you see the news out of China where they have the virus outbreak? And for some reason, this is under the radar. I mean, this a couple of days ago, I started reporting about it. They're not mentioning anything about it. And I'm very surprised because it's significantly impacting shipping already, where wait times for vessels out of Shenzhen went from less than 1 day, and now it's to 16 days. I've been to Shenzhen. Think about the biggest city in America, which would be Jacksonville based on mass, believe it or not. And the entire area is 100% industrial. That's kind of Shenzhen. So just the ports, everything coming out of it, it's where tons of goods are made, especially for the U.S. I mean, this is going to impact so many companies, so many sectors, and I don't think that's being factored in because people say, well, it's only like 2 weeks. No, because stuff has been... I bought a mattress. I bought a brand new mattress, went through the whole system. I said, okay, this is the one I'm going to buy. I ordered it 3 months ago. I didn't get any news on it until 2 weeks ago. And I said, is this like a fraud or something? And then finally someone called me. I said, am I going to have to charge this back or whatever? And just say word charge back. If you ever want someone to call you back, say charge back. Because you get a charge back, if you get enough of them, your credit card company could shut them down and they can't take online orders. Just mention the word charge back. We know that very well. But you never want to see chargebacks, right? If someone wants a refund, give them the money back. But they called and they were like, well, it's going to be there. We see the order. It's going to be there in about 2 weeks. And this was 2 weeks ago. But now it could be delayed even longer, right? So we're looking at product delays, which are everyone has experienced. If you ordered like so much stuff, they say, yeah, well, it's not inventory. You'll get it in a month, 2 months, 3 months. Even the autos, it's like 6 months delays to 9 months, 12-month delays. Now, how does this factor into stocks? It's going to cause companies to delay their earnings. They're not going to be getting paid on these orders. You could see more cancellations. And we are pricing in for perfection at all-time highs. Like nothing's wrong. There's no inflation. They have pricing power. Every company's seeing margins explode right now. If you don't have products to sell, that's a pretty big deal. You're going to see that with Ford and GM as the rest of the year goes on. And they kind of warned about it, but they're talking again about the EV market. And there's a reason why GM's not reinstating its dividend, even though the stock's at all-time highs and profits are all-time highs, right? So there's a reason why they're not reinstating the dividend because they're worried over the next 6 months, and they should be. Now with these delays, you're going to see furniture, housing, materials come from infrastructure, consumer good companies. I mean, this is going to impact tons of U.S.-based businesses, which may force them you'll see them maybe miss earnings and then push out the guidance even further, where they might not even see next quarter, but the further quarter. And when you see delays, or if you see companies miss estimates, especially at these levels and what they're trading at, they get nailed, and they get nailed hard. This is a pretty big story. I think the best way to play it, Daniel, again, we talked about this a little bit, but just look for companies like the largest U.S. importers of goods from China, because they're going to be significantly impacted. You look at manufacturing companies, infrastructure companies, a lot of these materials come out of there. These are major ports. This is a big deal because it is China, and we know that China lies about everything. So if they're saying there's an outbreak and it's 16 days, where that's the wait times for vessels out of Shenzhen, it's probably a lot worse than that, and they're not telling everybody, right? Because we all know what happened with China and everything. Now we know, right? We don't have to post that in social media, or you got thrown off. But that's a pretty big story to me. I don't know if you've been paying attention to it. I know we talked about it briefly, but that's something that I think should be talked about even more than this Fed meeting, because we kind of know what the Fed's going to say in a little bit.
Yeah, I did see I saw the headline. I think it was a good CNBC article about the shipping delays and things like that. And I like this, Frank, because I got to tell you, I read that and I went, nah. And here's why. It's a new strain of COVID, right? That's what I took from a new strain of coronavirus outbreak. Unless they shut down and do a lockdown or stop. And I know that they've done delays, and it sounds like they've shut down some of the shipping areas. But unless they do something where the interpretation is a lockdown and a oh crap, oh shit moment, I think the market will give companies a pass. And I think that the way you handle that during earnings is, hey, we got delayed because of such and such, but our backlog is at record amounts. Now, I think there's going to be volatility there, but unless the people get word, investors get nervous about another lockdown and then rolling lockdowns that would expand from China like it did the first time, I think the market's going to be a lot more lenient than maybe you do. I think volatility, but I don't think they're going to get hammered.
They could get.
And of course, I could be dead wrong, but I did. I love that because I could tell you were digging into it, and I'm like, here we go, another one of these outbreaks, another one of these delays.
Listen, I mean, just say that the wait times went from less than 1 day to 16 days. That's what they're reporting means. That's crazy. That's big news, right? That's really big news. That's a big deal, guys.
But the also big deal is how long does that last? If that lasts a week, that's a big deal. If it lasts a month and a half, that's a huge deal.
That's huge.
You know
so
what
we
I mean?
have to see what happens, and we're probably not going to know what happens, right? Because it's China, and we're really not going to know the data. But will these companies get a pass? I have to tell you something, and being in this industry for 25 years, I think people, even with options, you can throw this at options, which is important, but the value of time, I think people underestimate it. Because saying that, oh, these orders are delayed, and maybe they're delayed for a quarter or a little bit long, the longer you delay, the more you bring in everything possibly that could happen over that time frame, right? It's with options. You could be 100% writing a thesis, but the timing is wrong, and you lose all your money, depending on what options, strategies. But when you say, well, you're right, maybe everything's okay. But when I see the Fed not raising rates and I see inflation rates going higher, and you may see people pull back a little bit, in the pocketbook and say, well, all right, we're not spending too much. We've been spending a lot lately. We've gotten all this money from the government. We're going to see, supposedly, benefits, right, expire by September. So that means, less money going to a lot of people and going to have to work now. So who knows what's going to happen over the next 3 to 6 months. So if this lasts longer, this is a serious story. You got to pay attention to it, and it's going to result in companies missing earnings. Could they get a pass? Yes. A lot of companies got a pass so far. They've pulled back, and then people bought them and they went higher. But this could lead to fewer orders. And, I definitely keep track over this, because usually when you see delays, even during earnings, you see a company get hit. It's been common for these companies to bounce back tremendously, like we've seen time and time again. It's turned out to be a buying opportunity. There's going to be a time where it's not such a buying opportunity. The fact that inflation is going high, the Fed doesn't seem like they're doing anything. I don't know. I mean, when inflation goes high, people are paying more prices. Everything's more expensive than it's ever been. Eventually, they're going to have to cut back a little bit. And who knows? But I just think this is a story that demands attention, and we're not seeing it. And I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong on this. I'm even wrong. I hope I'm wrong on inflation, because portfolios are going to do fantastic. I've done a lot of research on this. I've studied it because I'm just a data nut. Guys, inflation, man, you guys never lived through it. I didn't really live through it when, during the prime of my career, but holy cow, I hope that we do not have that, because I know that 95% of people do not understand how painful it is going to be when you can't get a car loan, you can't get a mortgage, you can't get any money, your rates are going higher. I mean, most people have tons of debt right now. It's not going to be pretty. So I hope that doesn't happen. And that's why I'm a little concerned about the Fed. But this story in China needs a little bit more attention, I think, Daniel. It really does. At least monitor it. If you have companies in your portfolio that, a furniture company that receives 60% of their funds from China and they're getting them in, just be careful, because don't be surprised if they miss earnings and say, holy shit, how did that happen? This is how it happens.
Yep.
Okay. So this is a leading indicator telling you that, hey, we could see problems going forward. Monitor it. Ask lots of questions. Try to go, again, it's not easy to find accurate information on China, but yeah, that story could command some attention.